Alright, so I decided to do something a little different. I haven't printed anything all day. So I've got this one here. It's got the professional firmware on it. I've leveled the bed again. I've cleaned off the build plate, put fresh hairspray on it, and I think the back corner moved on me because of the springs. This still has the original springs, and they're pretty soft. I didn't want to take them off of some other printer to use this, but I'm leaving this one alone for now because of the problems with the Sonic pad that I'm having. So I decided to just like start printing with it, and it started to print the skirt and it screwed up. Actually, it looks fine right there. It looks really transparent. What in the hell? That's really weird. I'm using some other PETG that I found laying around. I'm trying to use this stuff up. Could be half my problem actually, but it was like doing that little stringy thing, so I guess the corner here maybe needs to be bumped up a little bit. But I just quickly adjusted the Z offset. So we're going to see how it's going to print, and I changed the retraction and all that. I did it in the slicer. I didn't do it in the software here because I don't know what it's underneath. They've got it under some other thing. We can see right now we are having a problem right there. But I'm just going to keep letting it print, and then I can adjust it and just try it again, and then adjust it and just keep trying it again. I find that like that's usually the easiest way for me to get something dialed in. And this is in fact brass. I don't know what exactly happened on that, but I'm not the only one that had problems with this thing. So I just got to get it dialed in. I maybe go and do a test bed print, but this is better because if it actually prints what I want correctly, I can just let it go and my print will get done. I think we're printing a bunch of garbage right now, so I think maybe am I just too far away? Something? I don't know. I'm going to let it do its thing. I'm going to see what this next one looks like because I figure this one's going to be different. And then I'll try and re-level the print bed, I guess. I don't know. So this one, I just had problems with the computer more than anything. And so then every time I'd have to retune it. So I think what I might do is, I think in one of the boxes there's a magnetic sheet. I'll put the magnetic sheet on here, and then I can use one of these PC ones. I'll have to redo everything anyway, so. Or I can just keep printing on the glass. I like printing on glass because I think it's a little flatter. I don't know. Maybe it's not. When I try to do the test bed print, it would hit this clip. So it looks like, maybe we're too hot for this particular stuff. I'm going to try to go to the hot end temperature. I'm going to go down to 220. And this is supposed to be something else. 220 to 250. We'll try to. I feel like these printers, they're not like, the temperatures on them is kind of wrong. And I do have an infrared temperature sensor somewhere, but I don't know. So this part of the bed is definitely printing a little bit different. We're just gonna let it print, and we'll see what happens. It looks like the center may have goofed up on the ones back here. But that looks pretty good right there. Like, why is that one coming out so good? These others. So the bed's got to be in the wrong position. I had in the box of stuff from Dave, I had some other springs, but they were like really, really, really stiff, and I just couldn't get them to work. So they were like too stiff. But I think that this one here definitely does need the springs to be upgraded. This one here has upgraded springs, I guess, when you buy it. They're at least thicker. So let's just see if this temperature... Well, we've got a failed print. Okay, so I just took it for a ride. We got to come in here and back, stop, stop. Okay. Okay. And I think it'll probably lock my print bed, even though I want it like... I had another printer where I could automatically like pull the print bed. So, it might actually be that that back is not up high enough. I think, let's see. So, I keep trying to touchscreen this damn thing. Okay. I need to, we'll do preheat, PETG. Okay. What I don't like about doing this is now that I've got filament in it, it's going to ooze out the tip of the damn thing. And, okay. So, I'm going to try to get over here and check the back left. And, let me come over here and do this. Okay. I mean, it looks pretty low. Let's try. Man, there's tools on the desk that shouldn't be here. It's a nightmare. Okay, back left. Alright, I'm just gonna go loosen it a little bit. So I'm gonna go that way. I'll do one. Okay, it feels pretty tight. Pretty good. Okay, front left. So maybe a little loose. Front right. Okay, so that one's a little stringy. Okay. Front left. I'm gonna say up some, and then like that. I can't tell, but I think. Left. It's definitely not where it needs to be. Okay. All right. really... It's hard to tell what's going on with this thing because I got filament coming out of it. And I'm too lazy. Okay. Looks pretty good. Okay. Let's get this off of here. And then we'll just quickly try and restart the print. Should start right away because we're already up to temperature. Let's see, 230 and 70. I think it needs to go up to 235, but I can't do anything with my settings right this second. Now it'll let me go. We go 230. I'll just turn it down a little bit. What I like about printing the skirt is it gives me a pretty good idea if the print's going to screw up. It's looking a little loose in the back, but it's better than the first time I went through where the skirt didn't even print correctly. Alright, so we might be doing alright. I can't tell, but it looks like it might have screwed up the center hole. It's literally going to print the first layer on one of these already. It's interesting how they choose to do these. Like I've seen different schemes, I think, on certain prints where they'll do like the outline and the outline and the outline and then fill them all individually. But this is like literally going to do the outline, fill it. I guess that way it doesn't have to change the Z-axis at all. So it looks like it could be working, but not being able to really see the first layer with the this in the way until it moves to the next one is kind of hard for me to tell, but I'll know in a second. And these are legs for a ham radio, an FT450. So they're taller so that you can raise up the radio. The original 450, yeah, that looks really good. It looks extremely similar to the first one. What the proof is going to be is in the back here, and see if we've made any improvements or if we've actually just made it worse. You never know. Okay, well, it looks, from what I can see underneath here, it does appear to be at least working. So we'll know here in a second. I think that the glass is easier to get leveled, I think, than the other sheets. That's why I say I think even if the bed is warped, I think that when you put a sheet of glass on it, it kind of forces the bed a little bit to follow the shape of the glass. I know the glass does flex a little bit, but I think that what happens is, yeah, that looks a little bit better. There's kind of a funny little spot in it where I'm not 100% sure if it's too close or too far. So we'll see what the next one looks like. Now, with a printer like this, I would expect to be able to print little stuff like this really slow. I wouldn't expect to have to screw around with it too much. Maybe adjust the temperature a little bit, make a couple, I would think it would, in 5 attempts, you should be able to like start printing this. But it's just not been the case with almost everything on here. But there's lots of factors. The temperature inside the shop here, we still have like winter-like weather from time to time. We're gonna hit freezing temperatures overnight. I think tomorrow night. Um, I've got the diesel heater going in the back, which is just a diesel parking heater. If you look, you can see it next to my welder. So, but this one here is the dual gear. I hadn't seen any advantage to that really, but I took a printer that didn't even work at all, and I'm trying to remember what was wrong with this one. It thought that up at the top was where the home was, and it would start to try and print back and forth over there. So I'm not sure what happened to Dave with this printer, but Dave would have these printers printing these projects that he would sell, and he had a problem with the printer, and he would just see if he could fix it, and then after too much time, he would just go buy another one. And I think this went on over a period of years, so, he probably forgot what the hell even went wrong with this one, but he had the computers labeled on him, so I think this might have had the different board in it. I'm not sure. But it does say it's an Ender 3 V2, so but the other printer over there is a Ender 3 Pro, and he updated this, and he has the 4.2.7 in that one. This other printer next to it had an issue and wouldn't work, and I think maybe it was just the firmware, but I put the new computer in it, and I realized that I couldn't run Clipper on it because Clipper wants on the Sonic pad to have the factory stuff. So I put a 4.2.2 board back in it, flashed Creality's stock Neo firmware, and then I was able to get the Sonic pad to do its thing. So that one was firmware related. This one was firmware related, and also this one had some other hardware related issue. Oh, the heating element was loose inside the hot end, and it was causing it to thermal runaway. Yeah, okay, I remember now. So, and then the other one next to it, also, the Z-axis motor was all the way loose. And let's see what else. The other one that's not over here, this bracket here is loose, so the X-axis can pivot on that and move around funny. And then the other one, the Bowden tube, was loose at the extruder. So they all had stuff wrong with them, and Dave was just having a hard time with them. He just finally said, "You know what? I'm done." So I think, I don't know, he uses like PCB way to make stuff that he's doing, and then some other company to make the cases, and they make them out of metal, and it looks far better than anything he can print. And he sells like a CW decoder or something like that. I'm not really sure. So he was like, "You know what? I'm done with these printers. If you get them working, please don't tell me. I don't want to know about it." And have fun. That's what he said. And he gave me 3 Enders, tons and tons of filament, a Sonic pad, enough parts to probably build 4 or 5 more printers. Granted that they were like older 8-bit boards and some ANET printer stuff. I mean, but just spare parts galore. I mean, like, absolutely amazing. I really have been having a lot of fun until I started getting too frustrated. I just had to take a break and just step back and go, it ain't that serious. Just relax. These are, you didn't spend any money on these other than the parts that I bought, in the time. So it looks to me right now like it's sort of close to printing okay. So this one's a little bit dark, which indicates to me with this really old filament, when it looks dark like that, that the temperature isn't hot enough or that the speed is too fast. And so I'm going to go and move the temperature up to 240. 242. We'll do 242. You can see it now. It's really obvious. So you see that how that one's all flat looking. This one's kind of glossy, but you can see that the squish is a little bit different over here on this one. So this isn't perfectly leveled, but it's good enough for government work. So the idea is we'll just let this print and see how she turns out. I just needed to print some legs. I can easily print them on quite a few other printers, but I just want to use some of this old filament and just try and mess with these printers and have fun. So, because what I'll do is, once this thing's going a while, I'll make sure there's plenty of diesel in the diesel heater. I'll shut down everything else. Maybe fire up the sonic pad because the camera's aiming right at this one too. And I'll go to bed. And then I can log in on my phone and check it. And hopefully nothing bad happens. But if it does, it does. So I'd say this one looks really, really clear because the spacing is really far apart. There's not enough squish. Bit more kind of like that. Anyway, we see how this thing does. I see the color is a little darker now. Maybe because it made another pass. Maybe because of the temperature. I don't know. But I think all in all, as long as this one, so this one, once I figured out I would print with it. It would print good, and then all of a sudden it would shut down in the middle of a print, and that was because the hot end was loose. So I didn't know about that for a while, and I discovered that before I did the conversion. So I got the printer to what I thought was working pretty good before I converted it to direct drive and did anything to it. So, and then I started having software issues where it was just had issues with homing and things like that. And I'm not sure, maybe that one of these are bad or something. I hadn't even thought about that. Because it actually has done some crazy crap where it just sounds like an SVO6 where they do the current limiting, sensorless homing. So maybe one of these limit switches is actually bad. I think it would be the one on the y-axis if I think about it now. And that could be causing a problem if it's an intermittent bad sensor switch. So we'll see. I'll see if I can check that actually later on. But yeah. Now, if I was gonna do anything else to this printer, I would probably do the Dual Z. The BL Touch, CR Touch sensor. I don't know, unless you have a way to incorporate the mesh into your print, which I'm having trouble with on the other one. Then it's not going to be like automatic bed leveling, with the some of the software it like kind of tells you, you know, how to adjust it. Um, the professional software on here for CR Touch, actually, I think it does tell you, you know, it estimates like how far you should, you know, tune it. But I don't see any advantage on this one having the touch sensor. Um, so I would say like the extruder is a failure point. Oh yeah, this one also I forgot to mention. This is the one that had a broken extruder arm. So um, I forgot completely about it. So yeah, I figured out the problems with the software, and then I figured out the problems with the broken extruder. I printed a new arm, and then I got it working, and then I thought it was working pretty good, and I did the conversion, and then I noticed the heat problem, and it was shut down after like an hour of printing. And then that's when I found the problem with the hot end, but then I continued to have software issues and homing issues. It would say unable to home, killing printer, or something like that, you know. So, um, yeah, this one's had a few problems. So, but like the problems that Dave had before Dave gave it to me was a broken extruder that he didn't know was broken, a loose hot end that he didn't know was loose, and some kind of software related issue where it didn't know where its axis was, and it thought that this axis was up much higher, and I wasn't able to really do much with the factory software on it to try and calibrate it. So anyway, it looks like it's working okay, so um, we'll just let it roll.